Merry Christmas, one and all. And, well, Merry Christmas and welcome back to Warframe Wednesday. What's good, neighborhood? Ace here, and, well, y'all already know who we're going to be covering. I've mentioned it numerous times, and she's right up there on the screen. Yes, it's going to be chestnuts roasting over an open fire today. So, remember how I mentioned that Volt would be a new player's introduction to how elemental damage works and how it affects the various factions you encounter in the game? Well, Ember is no different. As you can tell just from her look and also the colors I chose for her and even her name. Ember is all about fire damage. Now, the funny part here is that, well, fire damage has another interesting effect. Because while, yes, you can do damage over time when you set enemies on fire, it also causes them to panic. And when I say panic, I mean literally. They will spend more time running around on fire until the fire actually goes out than actually trying to fight you. So, you could say that causing burning to enemies is a pretty good way to negate a good amount of incoming fire. Sorry, just wanted to double check a couple of things. But anyway, as is the standard for this, we're going to be moving right to the testing area so that way I can give you a first-hand look at what Ember can do, at least in a controlled environment. All right, let's get these enemies on the field. There we go. All right. So first off, just as with the others, we'll talk about Ember's passive. Now, one thing I should also mention to you is that just recently, Ember was one of two Warframes that got a total rework and wound up having some of her abilities changed and picking up some brand new ones in the process. Oh, yeah, I picked this up from GameStop the other day, believe it or not. But yeah, I kind of dig it. Anyways, Merry Christmas to you too, Brian. Good to see you. So, as I was saying, just like every other Warframe in the game, Ember's passive is not only unique to her, but something that's built to kind of capitalize on her abilities and on her overall theme. So, for every enemy within for every enemy within a certain range of her that's set on fire, the strength of Ember's abilities actually gets a 5% boost. So, you're going to want to torch as much as you can, as often as you can. Now, her passive is one of those things that I can't really demonstrate, by itself. It's got to be something that you can show off in conjunction to actually using her abilities, which we'll get right down to the first one. Fireball's pretty straightforward. Toss out a projectile, set enemies on fire. Now, you can tap the button for it, or you can hold it for better damage. Casting it multiple times in succession can have you actually build up to a times 8 multiplier. And in conjunction with her passive, that's an additional 5% increase on top of that for every enemy that's on fire. So, it's pretty, you know, Fireball is a pretty straightforward ability, which has some useful alternatives as well. Because not only can you torch enemies, but actually, I think they might have changed that. Yeah, they did. Because it used to be that if you cast Fireball on a surface, then it leaves it leaves a lingering flame for, basically to be set as a trap or to be set as a way to cordon off strategic areas. That appears to be no longer the case, which I can work with still. Ember's second ability, Immolation. Basically, she sets herself on fire, and that fire can block incoming damage. Still a pretty solid ability overall, and what's even better is that basically the higher you see the little flame gauge go right there, the more damage it'll negate. So it's going to get stronger as time goes on, or until you deactivate it. But it's going to get stronger, and it'll block even more damage, eventually getting up to like 90% damage negation. Ember's third ability, once you get her to rank 7, is Fire Blast. Now, what Fire Blast does is reset the burn gauge, so it'll take away a little bit from how effective your immolation armor is. But at the same time, you're going to set enemies on fire. They're going to take damage. And your abilities overall get stronger the more of them are on fire. So it's all going to start, you know, it's all going to start playing off of each other. And last but not least is her new fourth ability, Inferno. Now, Inferno is an ability that immediately beefs up your beefs up your burn gauge. But on top of that, enemies that survive it are set on fire, and that fire can spread to others. That fire spreads to others, her abilities get stronger. You get the idea. Now, the one thing about her immolation armor is that the stronger it gets, like once you get to 100, once you get once you get it maxed out, then it'll start draining your energy and it'll drain it fast. But there is a way to manage that. So let's say you cast the armor. Then you cast Inferno. More enemies burning, more stuff getting lit up. And then you cast Fire Blast, and that'll dissipate. That'll dissipate the fire. That'll discharge what you have in the gauge, thus setting it back to where you can still keep that damage barrier up without it draining your energy. Hold on, a Christmas curse? What happened? Okay. So I guess that means that's plenty more in your backlog then. Oh, here we go. So, with that being said, Ember is one of the more interesting Warframes in that not only does she offer elemental damage capability, which certain enemies can negate, but she offers unique gameplay in that you basically have to jump between torching enemies to strengthen her abilities and then casting the Fire Blast to basically set her back to a point where her armor won't pull from her energy, because you need, like, if you want to play her right, then you're going to need a steady supply of energy to keep up the armor, to keep up the abilities, to keep up the damage. But I'm sure you all see where I'm going with this. Now, as you can see, as far as the theme build that I'm going for with Ember, I kind of dig the whole I kind of dig the whole balance of long range and melee. So if you can start off picking off enemies with the sniper rifle, or at the very least, launching some sort of fire or blast based ammo at them, get the fire going from long range, and then dive into melee range and finish the fight there. Now, Sylva and Aegis, a good weapon to find, a good weapon to build, and also, it's innate fire based, so it's perfect for it's perfect for an Ember theme build. So now we're gonna cut out of here, and I will show you guys exactly where you can pick her up. Now, just like with Rhino and a good number of others, you can pick up the component blueprints for Ember from one of the boss fights. And that fight is here. Wait, no. Sorry. That boss fight is here. Now, the boss fight on the Tethys node on Saturn, it's interesting because this is where you can't just do regular damage to the boss if you want to take it out. You have to keep an eye open for specific weak points and aim for those. And every time you take out a weak point, the boss's tactics and the boss's moves change. So, you know what? Let's go ahead and actually jump into this fight, see if we can find a decent squad to pair up with. Now, of course, as you could probably guess, this boss is actually very resistant to heat damage. But, you gotta take on a fire based boss if you want to pick up a fire based Warframe. It just makes sense. Oh, someone already got that. Let's go ahead and. Oh, damn it, I don't have enough energy for that. Oh, we still got a little ways to go before I land him. Ow! Jerk! Okay, it looks like I've got the energy for it, so now I can go ahead and cast the armor. Also, Chop, Andre, Blue, good to see you guys. Oh, And we are already at the boss. I'll let them handle him while I take out the cannon fodder around the side. Okay, you'll notice those certain light points that pop up. That is where you need to strike. All right, all right, we got that guy out of the way. Oh, excuse me. All right, let me deactivate that. Ooh, that's not good. Okay, that final weak point's on his back. You almost got him. There we go. All right, let's get out of here. And as you can see right there, just got the systems blueprint for Ember. So, if you're looking to grind the parts, this is the boss fight to do it in. My suggestion, don't bring any don't bring any fire element weapons to the party, no matter how good they may be at the time. Don't do it. Your damage output's going to be slim to none. So that right there pretty much covers the basics for Ember. Last thing I want to show you guys though is now that I've got them unlocked, I can show you guys exactly what exactly what augments and mods are available for Ember. Now, the first signature one that she has is Fireball Frenzy. As you can see right there, basically you can use your projectile to give your teammates additional fire-based damage. This one I don't have yet, so I'm going to go ahead and pick that one up now. Immolated Radiance pretty much sets it up to where whatever her fire armor does, any allies in range get that armor at basically half of its efficiency. So, if you got your armor constantly doing the 90% damage reduction, then your teammates are going to get a 45% damage reduction variant. Healing Flame, pretty much whenever you cast it, depending on like depending on how high you have that fire gauge, casting Fire Blast pretty much will wind up healing Ember for every enemy she hits with it. And the exothermic mod pretty much makes it so that when she drops the comets, any enemy killed while they're on fire from the effect of Inferno actually has a chance to drop energy orbs. So you can use your ability to replenish your energy and just kind of have everything feed into itself. So outside of the specialty mods and outside of the specialty mods, let's go ahead recap Ember's abilities really quick, as well as where to pick her up. So, if you want if you want Ember, then you get her from that boss fight on Saturn. But there's a special offer going right now where if you link your Twitch Prime account to your Warframe account for whichever system you're playing on, then you'll get Ember for free. In addition to an extra decorations for your base hub. Her four abilities: Fireball, basic projectile, and when you mod it, of course, you can cast it on your allies, get some additional damage. And that flapping noise in the background was my dog. Oh, Immolation, that's going to give you armor. You know, the armor gets stronger over time. The armor starts burning through your energy if you let it go for too long. Fire Blast sets you up with an AoE that basically helps you manage how quickly your armor burns through your energy, but it also strips enemy armor as well, so that's going to help you out tremendously. And then there's Inferno. Big damage, gives a chance for dropping energy orbs if you have it modded, and of course, spreads a fire effect to enemies around you, which, of course, that burning effect feeds back into strengthening your abilities. Oh, my favorite games of the decade, that I'll actually be covering on Sunday's podcast, so keep an eye out for that. So, looks like we have literally covered everything there is to know Everything there is to know about Ember once you get started with her. Now, as far as which mod cards you want to use to, really get the most out of her abilities, she's pretty much another one where you want to max out how much energy you have. You want to make sure that your abilities hit hard and they last for a long time. So, stuff like intensify, continuity, constitution, flow. I always go with, pretty much with every build, I always go with vitality and vigor for increasing her health and giving her a little bit of extra shielding to boot. Oh, I should probably put that arcane on her as well. So, with that said, I'm going to go ahead and bring this Warframe Wednesday stream to a close. Yes, I know it's only been a half hour, but what I do plan on doing is actually bringing the stream back up so that way I can just you know, get into a regular grind session and then we can just hang out, talk about whatever we want to there. All right. So, with that being said, I'll catch y'all in a couple of minutes. And for anyone that's still here to actually catch the Warframe Wednesday stuff, the Rhino stream is up on YouTube right now, and I'll be posting this one next week. So, I'll catch y'all then. For those of you that are heading out now, probably to do stuff over the holidays, have a good one. I'll catch you next time. And the rest of you that are going to be sticking around, just hang tight. I'll be right back.